Hi everyone, I'm Tyrannosaurus Luke and welcome to Through the Lens of Creation, the channel where we step into the real world, examine the evidence firsthand, and explore the stories written directly into the rocks beneath our feet. Today we're at one of the most extraordinary geological sites in North America, Dinosaur Ridge and Red Rocks here in Colorado. This place isn't just a scenic backdrop, it's a living archive. Bones, footprints, lifted rock layers, and massive formations, all preserved in a way that lets us walk right up to the evidence and see it for ourselves. In this episode, we're going to explore major stops that each reveal a different place of the bigger picture. Sauropod bones still embedded in the rock, multiple layers of dinosaur trackways, and the massive contact lines at Red Rocks. Each location adds another layer to the story, a story of sudden change, powerful forces, and rapid geological processes that shaped this region in ways you can still see today. So grab your gear, follow along, and let's explore the evidence together. This is Dinosaur Ridge, and this is Through the Lens of Creation. They are dinosaur footprints, real trackways preserved in multiple layers of rock. What's fascinating is that they're not all on the same surface. You have tracks on one layer, then more tracks on a layer above it, and sometimes even more above that. That tells a story. Imagine animals moving across soft, freshly deposited sediment. They leave tracks. Then, before those tracks can erode or be washed away, another pulse of sediment comes in, another surge of water, and buries that surface. Then animals walk across the new layer, leaving more tracks. Then another surge covers those, layer after layer, track after track. This pattern fits perfectly with the idea of raising water and repeated pulses of sediment. Animals were moving, fleeing, or simply trying to stay ahead of encroaching water, and the sediment was coming in fast enough to preserve each set of tracks before the next one was made. But tracks this crisp require wet sediment and rapid burial, exactly what we expect during the flood as rising waters preserved footprints moments after they were made. Look at how these layers also are sharply tilted. Most geologists says this happened through slow tectonic movement over millions of years. Ooh. But sharp tilting like this matches rapid tectonic movement during the flood while the sediment was still soft, giving us catastrophic deformation rather than slow change. And also, interesting fact with this is that there's no sliding marks, no skid marks, no nothing. It's just they're there. There's nothing showing them sliding. So if it was like this, then how could there not be any slide marks? Here's a clean ash layer. Not sure how ash can be clean, but it's fine, soft, and distinct. Mainstream geology says this represents distant eruptions over long ages, but ash like this settles quickly and is often reworked by water, fitting perfectly with flood conditions that spread volcanic material across entire regions in moments. The thing over there on their sign says that this ash layer is also radioactive. It's got uranium in it from zircon crystals. Here's something fascinating. Multiple layers of tracks stacked vertically. Mainstream scientists interpret this as long-term ecological cycles, but stacked track horizons fit perfectly with repeated flood pulses exposing and burying surfaces rapidly, capturing moments of survival in rising waters. Sharp, clean, and beautifully preserved, these tracks are actually the top part of the track. The actual track itself has fallen away and is gone, but you see here like that, the bulge, or there's 4 here behind me. But tracks this crisp require wet sediment and rapid burial. Exactly what we expect during the flood, as rising waters preserved footprints moments after they were made. Constant stride, clear impressions. The conventional view is slow changing environments, but track surfaces like this form when animals move across freshly exposed sediment during brief flood pauses, only to be buried instantly by the next surge. Right here, too, you can see there's a footprint above me, and there's one not as noticeable, but you know, another footprint below it. The thing about these two, they're in different layers, meaning in evolution that these would be completely different time eras. But how can you have that if the same dinosaur, two time eras? That doesn't work. Well, here's something interesting. Solid, rounded, and locked into the sediment. Most geologists say these formed through slow chemical changes over millions of years. But concretions like this form rapidly when mineral-rich floodwaters move through fresh sediment, lifting the flood model beautifully, fast, powerful, and unmistakable. Take a look at this. This is an Apatosaurus hip bone with another bone of a rib bone of a dinosaur above it. Bone pieces all mixed together. Mainstream scientists interpret this as forming slowly over long periods of time, but chaotic bone piles like this are classic flood signatures of sudden death, transport, and instant burial, giving us another place of the flood's record right here in the rock. If you look closely, you can even see ripple marks, literal signatures of moving water. So right here, in one location, you have evidence of animals walking across soft ground, water moving across the surface, and rapid burial happening repeatedly. It's a dynamic living environment captured in stone. Standing here with creation rock rising behind me, you can feel the weight of it. These rocks aren't just scenery. They're evidence of a world that changed rapidly, violently, and on a scale that's hard to imagine. And the fact that these layers are still so clearly preserved tells us that whatever happened, it happened fast. And honestly, there's a bit of irony in the name Creation Rock. Most people say it without thinking about it. But when you look at the rock itself, the scale of it, the violence recorded in it, the rapid deposition it represents, the name fits a lot better than anyone realizes. But what really stands out here is what sits above these rocks. If you look closely, you can see a sharp, distinct contact where a completely different layer rests right on top of the fountain formation. This boundary is part of what geologists call the Great Unconformity, a place where two major rock packages meet with almost no erosion between them. In a slow and steady model, you'd expect millions of years of weathering and formation, channels, and uneven surfaces, but instead the contact is flat, clean, and sharp, like one layer was laid down quickly after the other. Think about the sheer volume of sediment required to build these formations. Creation rock alone is a massive slab of material, lifted, uplifted, and exposed. Multiply that by the entire Front Range, and you're looking at continent scale forces acting on a massive scale. As we wrap up our time here at Dinosaur Ridge and Red Rocks, it's incredible to step back and look at the full picture. We've seen bones jumbled together in ways that point to sudden high energy burial. We've seen land animals and aquatic animals mixed in the same layers, creatures that never lived together, yet were buried together. We've walked across multiple layers of dinosaur trackways, each one preserved by rapid pulses of sediment, and we've stood in front of massive rock formations with sharp, flat contacts that show almost no erosion between layers. We've seen bones jumbled together in ways that point to sudden, high-energy burial. Take a look at this. Stop it. Do the 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Here's a clean, radioactive ash layer. Weirdest one I have ever seen. Of course, it's the first one, but weirdest one I've ever seen. Here comes another tour bus before long. Look at how this, oh, stop it.